By 1612, John Rolfe, and for those who have seen Pocahontas, John Rolfe is Pocahontas' husband. So John Rolfe perfected the growing of tobacco and saved the economy of the Virginia colony. Just as tobacco farming started to get huge, so did England's appetite for it, and that means demand went way up and so did supply. Colonists started to require land and began planting tobacco everywhere. It gave birth to the plantation system, and they demanded a lot of labor. The labor was provided by a precursor to American slavery and was known as indentured servitude. Specifically, it was a contract in which the employer provided passage to the New World in exchange for a certain number of years in service. Representative government also found its name into Virginia under the House of Burgess. In 1619, it was a mini parliament type thing, England and all, parliament. Well, James I kind of got jealous of their ability to exist without England, so he made them a royal colony, placing Virginia directly under his control. And that's what you get for making a mini parliament, so don't try that. Fast forward, give or take 20 years, we see Maryland begin to unfold. Maryland was the second plantation colony and was established by Lord Baltimore in 1634 as a safe haven for Catholics. Since Catholics were still being prosecuted in England, Lord Baltimore used his title and status to establish a colony. He hoped that Maryland would be a feudal society, a model off of England's aristocracy. Similar to Virginia, Maryland depended on tobacco and indentured servitude. Due to religious tensions with Protestants, Lord Baltimore and the rest of Maryland were forced to pass the Act of Toleration in 1649. This document granted religious freedom to all Christians, whether Protestant or Catholic, yet there was a death penalty on those who denied the divinity of Jesus. In the South, specifically the West Indies, the English were also busy colonizing. Sugar was the most important part of the West Indian economy. For those of you thinking that the Chesapeake had tobacco and the West Indies had sugar, well, it's not that simple. Tobacco was a poor man's crop, meaning that anyone could grow it, but sugar, on the other hand, had to be planted in huge quantities, and such extensive planting required large amounts of labor. To fulfill this need for labor, the sugar lords don't, that's what she said, me. I see you over there. Imported slaves from Africa. They imported so many that by 1700 that black slaves outnumbered white settlers 4-1. So that is 4 black people for every white person. So to deal with this large influx of slave populations, now that white people were minorities, they started to devise formal codes. The most famous one, the Barbados Slave Code of 1661, denied the most fundamental rights to slaves, giving the masters complete control over them, and that included violent punishments. Since the sugar lords dominated the West Indies, the little English farmers that were trying to make a living were squeezed out. These people migrated to the Carolinas, bringing with them a few enslaved people and their intense slave codes. These farmers also realized that rice is an extremely valuable export and was really, really wanted and needed by the English. And also, since rice was a common thing in Africa, it caused even more demands for slaves. Carolina's capital, Charlestown, quickly became the busiest city, yet also the most tolerant in the South. In the northern section of Carolina, a group of poor outcasts started to emerge. The people that lived here were called squatters. They basically had no legal rights to their land, raised tobacco on small farms, and were typically freed indentured servants. Nobody really wanted to be associated with these people, so Carolina separated with them, leading to the creation of 2 separate states, South Carolina, the aristocratic ones, and the, other one, North Carolina. The Carolinas became an asset to the throne and no one wanted any harm to come to this cash-making colony. As a result, Georgia was established in 1733 with only one purpose: to serve as a buffer between Spanish-controlled Florida and French-occupied Louisiana. All of the random people that England needed to do with, and they really had no idea what to do with, they stuck here. And as a result, Georgia became the most diverse colony of the South and was dubbed the Charity Colony. I definitely would not want to live there. So there you have it, folks. That is all of Chapter 2 in, about 10 minutes. See you guys soon.